So today I present, I believe, important video for all my program of rejuvenation and living up to 1,000 years. So and today it's short version, and next week a longer version with references to information will be available. As always, I recommend you to start to download this presentation as PDF file from the link in the description. Okay, here I don't give any references to the source of information, so wait for next week. But I just want to express how important it is. So the goal of my project is to make this rejuvenation and living up to 1,000 years affordable even for poor people in developing countries. So I do my best, and I think I manage, and I follow science. I'm a professional scientist myself, and again, I'm not a blogger. I'm not just express my opinion, or I'm not giving you some news about research. I do research myself, so it's again, it is my responsibility, of course, but it's also my success. Okay, let's go. Let's go slowly. In prehistoric times, our ancestors were able to crush large animal bones between stones and get to the bone marrow, which contained a lot of fat and was rich in calories. This adaptation allowed the development of large brains in our ancestors, making humans lipivores, so eating fat. About 200,000 years ago, humans invented the use of fire to sterilize food, but only about 7,000 years ago did our ancestors start to consume grains and plant-based foods. And in contrast to fats and mice eating plant-based foods, humans are adapted to use fat as a source of energy, stay in ketosis, and produce ketones, or some people say ketones bodies, from the first days of life. This is what we are, how different we are. Ketones are important for brain development. So it's again, this eating fat made us humans, made us especially intelligent people, intelligent creatures, and it is very, very important for all our life. This is how that life of our ancestors was thinking, that they were taking bones of animals, of some big herbivores, and crushing them with stones to get to the marrow and eating marrow. Breast milk, which contains approximately 1.2 gram per deciliter or 100 milliliters for protein, 3.6 gram per 100 milliliters for fat, and 7.4 gram per 100 milliliters for lactose, is essential for infants to stay in mild ketosis and produce ketones for the breakdown of fats. Sorry about my dog. The ketogenic diet, also known as keto, is a high-fat, low carbohydrate and moderate protein diet which aims to induce a metabolic state of ketosis in humans. It may include green vegetables, avocado, olives, and nuts. While in ketosis, the body primarily uses fat for energy instead of carbohydrates. The liver converts fats into ketones, which are then used as energy sources by the body, and potential benefits include weight loss, improved blood glucose control, and reduced inflammation. So I was, in my research, I was getting through the stage of this ketogenic diet. I consumed a lot of vegetables, so it is, again, I know on my own experience what it is. So again, I was lucky that my mother was getting enough breast milk, so my brain developed quite well. I believe so. It's at least better than it's in modern times when many mothers use this milk formula instead of breast milk. This destroys the brain of the infants. However, the ketogenic diet has been considered by medical professionals as controversial due to side effects such as keto flu, fatigue, headaches, nausea during the first weeks of adaptation, and the potential formation of kidney stones and gout due to high intake of oxalates with green vegetables and nuts. Yeah, it's again, I didn't have much of this. I didn't suffer much from this. symptoms, but again, this is accumulation of oxalates. It's very real. Although protein intake could lead in long term to loss of muscle mass. A carnivore diet, a plant-free, zero-carb, high-protein and high animal fat ketogenic diet has been popular despite being condemned by medical experts as dangerous and unscientific. Early advocates of the carnivore diet include Bernard Midfield, I cannot read this, sorry, Emma Stewart, Blake Ferguson, Donaldson, and others. Okay, so this is how carnivore diet looks like. So fatty meat and eggs. Eggs, I don't see here eggs, but okay, eggs and dairy product normally are included. This is more look like the lion diet, the extreme version of the carnivore diet. Okay, let's go. Adults following a carnivore diet reported minimal adverse effects, high satisfaction, and notable health benefits. The lion diet, this what was this previous slide is about the lion diet. A strict carnivore diet consisted solely of ruminant meat, salt, and water, has demonstrated impressive health improvement in younger individuals. The key word is younger individuals suffering from autoimmune conditions. Proponents of this diet claim it may allow people to live longer and healthier life, which is not true. However, decreased protein digestion in old age may have a detrimental effect on health. Many people lived on the carnivore diet but didn't live considerably longer than the average longevity of humans. This is a fact. Again, we have to take it into consideration. Limited longevity could be explained by accumulation of pathogens in the gut microbiome and extending the gut transit time or the colonic transit time. Okay, this is how this impact of the carnivore diet or goes together with some exercise. So it is not bad for younger people. I would recommend it a lot, especially. But again, in a longer version of this such presentation, I will explain why it is not good for life extension. Okay, for example, the average lifespan of people from the Maasai tribe in the Eastern Africa who follow a carnivore diet from dairy products included ranges from 55 to 60 years. It is worth noting that carnivorous animals such as wolves, tigers, and lions tend to have shorter lifespan than herbivores of compatible sizes. Jean-Louis Calment, a French super-centenarian with 122 years lifespan, ate boiled beef and fish, so like carnivore, with banana salads. Banana has so-called resistant starch, at least if it is not ripe bananas. Garlic has prebiotics, and dark chocolate. Dark chocolate has a lot of this chocolate, cocoa powder, and cocoa powder is prebiotic also. And this is suggesting that prebiotics are necessary for longer life. As the main goal of my project is to extend the longevity of humans, I consider modification of a carnivore diet by supplementation with prebiotics and amino acids. Okay, it's actually, I go a little bit further. It is not only about carnivore diet, but again, supplementation with prebiotics and amino acids, and what else is important is vitamin C is also important. So I will go into more details in the next week, in the video that will be available in next week. Okay, Maasai people live up to 60 years, and even so they are strong, and they are physically strong and tall in younger age compared to neighboring tribes, but yet they don't live too long. So Nina Teicholz claims that seed oils are unhealthy and chemically unstable, which is true. Recommended by medical professionals, dietary fibers mostly include cellulose fibers in fruits and vegetables. They cannot be digested in the gut or fermented in the colon of humans, but work as absorbents of seed oils in modern day diets, so it is like in standard American diets. Consequently, with recommended amounts of dietary fibers, lower amounts of seed oils, which are producing a devastating impact on our health, will be reduction of this seed oils consumption will improve the health. So the prominent supporter of carnivore diet, Dr. Paul Mason, insists that humans don't need dietary fiber in fruits and vegetables because these fibers may damage protective mucous layer on the inside of the gut, leading to leaky gut syndrome, which is absolutely true. Paul Mason also indicates that the danger of these seed oils. I agree with him a lot, but yet again, his proposals are to improve health of relatively young individuals. My project is to extend longevity and to help the elderly. Okay, this is most dangerous seed oils, which you have to stay away. Never consume them, never even touch them. Even fruit oils like avocado oil and coconut oil is not very healthy, I believe. You can use it in some amounts, but not for cooking, only drinking maybe a little bit. However, a shortage of prebiotics in the diet will lead to the domination of gut microbes that consume mucus and the development of inflammatory bowel disease and leaky gut syndrome. This is again, this is also a medical fact. Therefore, the damage of this protecting layer of mucus is the fact. And because of the damage, then leaky gut syndrome develops. So therefore, Dr. Paul Mason also proposes to avoid dairy products as migration of casein from the gut lumen into the bloodstream in conditions of leaky gut may lead to autoimmune complications. This is again, he proposed a solution which is working, yeah, but again, this is not solution. It is just some, yeah, it's again, I would not, okay, let's go further. Proponents of a carnivore diet claim that the requirement for vitamin C is lower on a carnivore diet due to the lower levels of glucose in the blood and absence of plant-based anti-nutrients that increase oxidative stress. So they claim that necessary amounts of vitamin C can be obtained from raw meat, particular organ meats, and how cooking destroys much of this vitamin C. And again, I never would support such opinion. Okay, let's go. This is Paul Mason. He's good man. He works with athletes and some young individuals, and he helps them a lot. But again, it is not for longevity. So let's delve deeper into the nutritional components that may be advantageous for living a long and active life. Some biological species live exceptionally long lives, as we know, and if we follow nature, let's go deeper in it. Considering their diet and physical activity, I may suggest that it is beneficial to rely on fat as a source of energy. Yeah, at least some mammals that rely on fat and stay in ketosis. As we age, the production of gastric juice and proteolytic enzymes in the stomach is reduced, impairing protein digestion and allowing pathogenic bacteria in the colon to thrive and produce ammonia and toxins from undigested protein. So longer life may be related to shorter colonic transit time, which is defined by the movement of gut content in the colon it shortens time. So the prebiotics at least shortens time, or the pathogenic bacteria have to colonize and produce toxins. Okay, so the shorter the colonic transit time is, the better. And again, in nature we see that bats, for example, both microbats eating insects and macrobats eating fruits, they have very short gut transit time, and therefore they live much longer than other mammals of the compatible size. Okay, the colonic transit time, it is time what takes for foods to get through the colon and get expelled as feces. So, and slow, and again, the short transit time microbiota diversity is smaller, but it is actually for better because these pathogens are excluded as they cannot thrive in these conditions. Intense aerobic activity can significantly influence human longevity by shortening colon transit time, reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers, leading to a longer life. Yes, okay. So unlike prebiotics, cellulose fibers cannot be fermented in the colon of humans, so they slow down colon transit time and increase the migration of toxins to the bloodstream. So again, this is how it works. Again, if you understand that protein is not digested, yes, and then if you consume it with fibers, from fruits and vegetables, protein and these fibers, then it will make devastating impact on the health of the elderly people. Young people are quite okay with this, but again, I'm talking about life extension. So resistant starch type 2 is the cheapest prebiotic that does not damage mucus and can support gut health. Fermentation of starches produces hydrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, and short-chain fatty acids that can be used as source of energy by our body, and not only by epithelium layer in the colon, and but all the body, including brain. Also, some supplements directly provide short-chain fatty acids in the form of salts. These short-chain fatty acids can be produced from resistant starch in the colon, and recommended intake, it is officially recommended intake for prebiotics is 14 grams, and prebiotics means mostly resistant starch. It is already known, it is already some scientific publications recommend to consume up to 14 grams to every 1,000 kilocalories. And it's for 3,000 kilocalories, it is quite a lot, 42 grams per day, it's a lot. But I propose further. Okay, so you see the difference between the prebiotics and fibers. Cellulose fibers slow down and extend the colonic transit time, so we have this accumulation of production and migration to toxins to the bloodstream in this combination. But if it is combined with resistant starch, so you can eat instead of fruits and vegetables, where you can consume resistant starch, then colonic transit time will be shorter, and less toxins will be produced in the colon, and then it will be very beneficial. Okay, this is already known. Okay, what is resistant starch 2? It is starch produced in some tubers, mostly the pod potato and cassava tapioca. This starch, it is white powder. White powder, it's very fluffy. I mean, very not dense. It's no taste. Don't be confused with boiled potatoes or somehow cooked potatoes. It is not resistant starch if it is cooked, but dry powder of the resistant starch, this potato starch, is the resistant starch type 2. Other resistant starch I don't consider because they are not easy available and and sometimes it is yet not exactly resistant, so it can be converted to glucose. Short-chain fatty acids can be responsible for 5 up to 15% of total caloric requirements in humans, if it is, according to the recommendations, 14 gram per 100 kilocalories of food. Yeah, so it's 15%, but again, it is yet again, I propose to increase it further. Short-chain fatty acids can cross the blood-brain barrier and signal to different brain areas, influencing brain function through the gut-brain axis. They can suppress hunger by signaling to hypothalamus. So you read please yourself this one. I propose to download the presentation. I know how to write it, but pronunciation is not so easy for me. Hypothalamus. Okay, hypothalamus. Nagmal rats consume inner parts of tubers rich in resistant starch type 2 to produce short-chain fatty acids and vitamins B in their colon. They also eat their feces to get bacterial proteins. Okay, this is how they survive. They don't eat meat, they need some protein. Protein is of bacterial origin, and this amino acids and protein is of bacterial origin. But they get energy from short-chain fatty acids, so they are actually on ketogenic diet, despite they don't eat any fat. So as Nagmal rats live about 20 times longer than mice and rats, we may consider their diet as a hint to modify our diet for longevity. Resistant starch type 2 responsible for butyrate production during fermentation in the colon. Butyrate is an essential energy source for colonocytes. It is in the epithelium layer of the gut and can inhibit the development of atherosclerosis, which is the main cause of disability, cause of death and disability in developed countries. That's true. Okay, guys, it is short-chain fatty acids. It's 3 main acids, and butyrate is 6 carbon atoms molecule, and this is the most beneficial short-chain fatty acids. And resistant starch is responsible for this butyrate production, because other kind of prebiotic is not so efficient in butyrate production, and butyrate is very, very beneficial. Okay, this is Nagmal rats. They live underground and they don't see sunlight, and they live in very harsh conditions, but they live very long. Actually, they never, the body of Nagmal rats does not deteriorate. They live 40 years, but they die not because of aging. They die because of accidents, or because of starvation, or because of preying, or because of a snake can kill them. Some of them. Okay, so it is, but they can live in, technically speaking, forever. And again, they live 20 times longer than mice and rats. It has been shown that butyrate can act as a histone deacetylate inhibitor, increasing the expression of genes related to neurodegeneration and plasticity. Okay, it's for brain. Okay, this was again research. It can also influence DNA methylation pattern, another key epigenetic mechanism of aging. But modulating DNA methylation and histone acetylation, butyrate can potentially slow down or even reverse some of the epigenetic changes associated with aging. Despite I criticize the use of epigenetic clocks to estimate biological age, this is at least has some connection to real biological markers of aging. And if epigenetic clock shows that okay, there is some rejuvenation, we can check what is happening, what was the real markers of aging, and if it shows rejuvenation, it is quite a good indication that butyrate can contribute to rejuvenation and longevity. So decreased levels of bacterially produced butyrate and are related levels of bacterially produced butyrate are related to epigenetic changes in leukocytes and neurons, aging in okay, sorry about the comma. So it is epigenetic change related to aging in patients with Parkinson's disease. So it is again, if there is not enough butyrate produced, and it is relatively easy to measure, then we see accelerated aging in Parkinson's disease, and also the degradation of the brain, because butyrate can be used by brain as a food source, and it is okay. As also it increases the severity of the depressive symptoms. The epigenetic age of these immune cells like macrophages and monocytes shows, and white blood cells show the strongest link to low fecal butyrate level. So if it is not enough butyrate produced in the colon, then again we see epigenetic age of these immune cells is increasing. So again, indication that probably, or that's most probably, it's a quite a good indication that that we have accelerated aging because not enough butyrate is produced. So this how butyrate works. It is related to expression of genes, and also it is reducing DNA methylation rate. So it is quite good. A very necessary substance. Butyrate possesses cancer preventive and anti-cancer effects and drives epigenetic reprogramming in human colon cancer cells, gradually increasing intake of this resistant starch type 2 on the carnivore diet, or actually any diet, can suppress appetite, shorten gut transit time, improve gut health, reduce chronic inflammation, improve cognitive abilities, reduce the risk of autoimmune diseases in older age, and slow aging. Side effects are usually gastrointestinal in nature, including flatulence, bloating, diarrhea, and abdominal discomfort because of higher production of gases and at high doses of resistant starch. And this occurs largely because of gas produced during the bacterial fermentation. Yes, this is okay. You can consider it as a side effect and not desirable effect because it's really producing a lot. But this gas is not stinking. It is just this CO2 and the methane and hydrogen. Hydrogen is very beneficial for your body because it works as antioxidant. But again, it can be flatulence can be considered as side effects. But what to do? Starting the intake of resistant starch at low doses and increasing over time can help to improve the tolerance. So again, if you will start to use more than 100 grams of resistant starch, then you will have more symptoms. Maybe you will decide to give up. But okay, start with smaller, like 50 grams a day, and increase. So I increase, and again it's working quite well. So again, this butyrate works as a histone to reduce histone hyperacetylation. So it is expression of genes is improved. And related to rejuvenation of the genes, and also it shows anti-inflammatory conditions and induces apoptosis in cancer cells. So it is all for better. So resistant starch is not the only supplement that can improve gut health and lead to epigenetic rejuvenation. Glutamate supplementation, I was talking in previous presentation about this, is easy. So instead of taking like alpha-ketoglutarate, it's also acid, and calcium salt of alpha-ketoglutaric acid is sold for very expensive. Like it is recommended to take 2 grams of this alpha-ketoglutarate per day, and the price is $5 American per day. But you can take glutamate Glutamate is available as itself, or it can be taken as salt, like monosodium glutamate, and monosodium glutamate is very popular in Asian countries, and people use it a lot, and up to 30 grams daily. It's worked perfect. And so what is making it is reducing chronic inflammation, supports immune function and gut integrity, contributes to epigenetic rejuvenation even better than this calcium alpha ketoglutarate. Okay, if people were claiming rejuvenation with intake of calcium alpha ketoglutarate, this glutamate works even better, or at least it should be. But of course, who will pay for these measurements? I cannot pay. It's expensive. Every epigenetic measurement is more than $500 or start from 100, but it is to make it reliable, you need maybe $500 per person for one measurement, and it is. So I don't have this money. I don't want to, but I see how it works. If I take glutamate together with resist starch, it's like a miracle. I love it. I personally love it. Okay, let's go further. So an increased in sodium intake can promote ketosis. Again, very important stuff. So if you want to stay in ketosis, sometimes you need more sodium. And you have to drink more water, because when you stay in ketosis, your body is losing water. So you have to drink more water, and if you also take sodium, table salt, you can take table salt, but much more reasonable to take monosodium glutarate. Okay, so long, intense aerobic exercise in the heat can cause increased sodium loss in sweat, and sodium requirement would be above 5 gram level. Okay, this is official opinion. So I believe that if you stay in ketosis, 5 grams of sodium per day is absolutely necessary. If you take more, it is not big problem. But especially if you do this intense aerobic exercise, then above 5 grams, no problem. But 5 grams of this sodium, if table salt will be replaced by monosodium glutamate, it is more than 20 grams of monosodium glutamate, MSG. And this makes food much delicious. I love it. Even again, so let's go further. So therefore, monosodium glutamate as a source of glutamate and sodium can be recommended to combine with carnivore diet and aerobics exercise and with intake of resistant starch. So I would say, okay, in my extended version of the presentation, I will explain why. So, and again, if monosodium glutamate is taken together with this resistant starch type 2, the migration of glutamate from the lumen of the thin intestine will be slower and last longer, so the effect will be better, so everything will work better. Again, so guys, it's work as miracle. Previously, I would say I used monosodium glutamate, but I used it to make bone broth. So I was I replaced all my table salt with monosodium glutamate. It makes bone broth better, and my pets love it. I absolutely love it. But yet I would say you can take monosodium glutamate with a spoon, or if you will take it together with resistant starch, even better, because resistant starch is tasteless, and some people claim that it is difficult to swallow with this starch. But okay, take it with monosodium glutamate, mix it and take it, much better. Okay, so glutamine, again, people were mostly focused on glutamine, but glutamate, it is the same like glutamate, but with two ammonia groups. So glutamine can be converted to glutamate, and again, it is better if you want to keep your gut healthy, better to use glutamate, so this like monosodium glutamate, then you will keep acidity, some acidity in your gut, and it is actually better for health than alkalinity. And okay, so especially again, if you stay about your small intestine is or thin intestine, it has to be a little bit acidic. Normally it is alkaline. Alkaline, why alkaline? Because it is the digestion of carbohydrates goes in thin intestine, and for enzymes to work efficiently, they need alkaline conditions. But if you make little bit acidic conditions, and glutamate, monosodium glutamate can contribute to this, but also ascorbic acid also, then it will be much better for health. Okay, I will go into more details later. In conclusion, I suggest consuming ascorbic acid. So, sorry, in this presentation I was not focused much on ascorbic acid, but in longer version I will. Because look, what I propose to follow nature. And I'm not the only person who say follow nature to find a solution for any problem. Be natural. There is no natural way to do this or that. Natural way. And you know from my presentation about Linus Pauling. Linus Pauling got Nobel Prize, is a Nobel Prize winner twice. Not many people on this planet got Nobel Prize, but even twice. And he's absolutely fantastic person. He proposed to use mega doses of ascorbic acid together with amino acids, and he was using it, but yet it is not enough. It was not enough because he didn't change the diet, and but his idea was based on simple. The idea was very simple: follow nature. If humans cannot produce ascorbic acid, but other animals can produce ascorbic acid, then you need as much ascorbic acid as other mammals produce. And if we calculate how much ascorbic acid a man like me, 70 kilo of body weight, needs per day, it is like more than 20 gram, even 26 gram per day of ascorbic acid, industrial produced ascorbic acid. And he personally was using 18 gram per day. But problem with this is, so to keep concentration of ascorbic acid in blood, in serum, relatively steady, you have to take ascorbic acid every 3 hours. It is again, you have to keep these powders and take every 3 hours. It's quite disturbing for me. But if you take it with resistant starch will slow down the release of amino acids and release of this ascorbic acid and also glutamate to the blood. So it will keep concentration of these substances in the blood a little bit more steady, which is good for health, which is much better for health. Because if you have this high oscillation of concentrations of these substances, there will be side effects. But if you blend it with resistant starch, then it will work. And again, we take resistant starch to mimic the diet of long-living native mole rats. Again, I've tried to follow nature. If native mole rats live 20, 40 times longer than mice and normal rats, why? We have to think, okay, maybe it is because of resistant starch. Maybe it helps. And there is a lot of scientific evidence on it. The butyrate produced from resistant starch is absolutely fantastic. It makes rejuvenation in the body. And if you further combine it with monosodium glutamate, if you combine with ascorbic acid, this would be a real breakthrough in the research. This is what I consider this proposal as very important, very important. So it is discovery. I believe it is discovery. I have to prove it. I have to prove it yet, but how to prove it? I don't have funds to make experiments with some animals, so I do experiments on myself. But again, how many people will trust me instead of propaganda and instead of medical officials? I don't know. Again, but at least I'm interested to live long. Okay? And I try to propose some protocol which is very affordable for all people. And I tell you that because resistant starch suppresses appetite, and it supplies also energy to your body. Not in form of glucose, but in form of short-chain fatty acids, which are very beneficial for your body. Yeah? So then you save money on food. So it is easy to buy. Resistant starch is very cheap. You can buy it, you can store it without any problem. You don't need cooling or any special dry. It is in packs and sealed, and so you can open it and take with a spoon as much as you can. The same is with monosodium glutamate, and the same with amino acids. So, and if you calculate how much money you spend on such diet and compare with carnivore diet, for example, it is huge difference. I eat meat. I eat meat almost every day, or try to. But again, if I eat meat, already I am so satiated that I cannot eat eggs. Previously, I was eating eggs and meat and the dairy products all together. Now, when I shifted and I started to use more than 200 grams of resistant starch or this tapioca starch, then I'm full. I cannot eat more, and I feel great. I sleep much better. My endurance is increased. I swim or I go cycling for 3 hours a day, and my brain function. I feel myself calm. I feel myself focused. Life is great. The only problem is that maybe I need more money for research and more money to because this is not the only protocol. I also want to contribute. I already developed some bacterial enzymes to remove toxins from our body in form of lipofuscin or in form of some cross-link collagen. Again, but if you want this substance will be produced and available for many people, money is a problem. Okay, without money I cannot do it. I tried, I failed because of war in Ukraine and other problems with money. And okay, but again, I'm fine. I have more than enough. I'm fine. And but if people want to live long, if they're interested in better health and living long and productive life, okay, then support of the project is vital. So I'm give all information for free, but again, if somebody appreciate it, okay, they're welcome to support it. Okay, so okay, let's go a little bit more on this. So as I suggested, partial replacement of meat and fish with amino acids and their salts. This is what I do. And this is making a diet for elderly closer to the diet of long-living ant queens. So again, the neckmole rats, they get this amino acids from feces. Okay, I don't say eat feces, but feces are these amino acids and peptides are produced from bacteria. It is bacterially produced amino acids, and and amino acids nowadays are produced by industrial in large amounts, and they are very cheap. So you can add you can replace meat and fish with these cheap amino acids. I consume a lot of glycine and lysine and lysine, and other taurine. Quite number of amino acids I take, and got it for very cheap. It is maybe not very pure. It is for animals. It is for pigs mostly, but it's if it is good for pigs, it is good for me. I see it is not contaminated. It is industrially produced from bacteria in bacterial synthesis. Why not to use it? Okay, why do you think meat or fish available on market are better quality, and it is also with parasites, also with pesticides, and again, so why people are afraid so much of chemicals? Oh, ascorbic acid is chemically produced from glucose. Yes, it is chemical. It is bacterial synthesis from glucose to amino acids. Why not? Why not? Bacterial synthesis. Okay, if good bacteria are good friends, bad bacteria are our foes, our enemies. So okay, choose your friends wisely. Okay, that's what I say, and follow nature. So again, this modification of the diet for the elderly is beneficial because I try to combine what I see in nature. So long-living ant queens, they consume amino acids instead of protein. Okay, very well. Then neckmole rats, they rely on resistant starch and as the source to produce butyrate and produce another short-chain fatty acids and to use them as energy source. Yeah, I follow nature, nothing more. Okay, amino acids can be produced industrially from carbohydrates or through the sauce-vide technique of meat cooking. In some Western countries, people complain they cannot buy glycine or it is very expensive because people sell it 10 times more expensive than it is available in Thailand or some other countries. And it is sold in capsules, and you are supposed to take 2 grams. And some days I take 100 grams of glycine. Okay, 100 grams is maybe too much, but I take a lot of amino acids, I will tell you. And amino acids, if they are available for your body, your muscles will grow. You will feel great. You will feel great. Again, the only that you cannot eat meat. Maybe if you take too much amino acids, then you are so tired that. Yeah. Okay. This is the problem is that you change your diet completely. You stop eating like normal food. You stop eating standard American diet. You stop going to Kentucky Fried Chicken, or you stop eating in McDonald's. But what is the problem with this? You can eat. I eat meat cooked with sauce vide technique, and I love it. I love it. It's delicious. Okay, and I use this monosodium glutamate, which is restricted in Western countries, so it has to be below 5 grams. Sorry, guys, I take up to 20 grams. I love it. I love how it works, and I love the taste, the change in the taste of the meat, and even I swallow it as powder, no problem at all. So, a blend of ascorbic acid, amino acids, and resistant starch can be included in vegetarian or standard American diet. Also, all elders can do it. It will be based on scientific evidence. Ascorbic acid, amino acids, and this prebiotic resistant starch type 2 can be included in the vegetarian or even in standard American diet, but the best results are expected for ketogenic and carnivore diet. Yeah, try again. It is, if you so much against killing animals, consumption of amino acids is not killing animal. This you can get amino acids like glycine. I buy for less than $4 per kilo. It's incredibly cheap. Other lysine is about the same. It depends on quality, on purity, and there is some lysine which is more expensive, which is purified. But okay, I take lysine which is for pigs, and it is okay for me. It is maybe with some bacteria. It is not purified from this from the bacterial stuff which was producing the amino acids. But neckmole rats, they eat amino acids which are not purified from bacteria. They get protein and from bacteria, and they get amino acids produced by bacteria and they fine with this. And if they will, they can live 20 times longer on this bacterial produced amino acids. Why I cannot? Why I need super purified amino acids? It's not question of gain. Some food qualities of amino acids more expensive, but it is just more purified. It is in purification in this sense is not much improvement of the how it works. So again, what else? Sauna and regular intense aerobic exercise are necessary to accelerate detoxing of our bodies. Absolutely. I have to yet again. Sorry, I am planning, but don't have time yet to include sauna sessions regular, if maybe at least twice a week, maybe every day if it is possible. I was in better. I was living in Bangkok and was attending. Oh, pardon, shit.